Welcome back to Old School Sports and our Out of the Park Baseball 26 series, Rescue the Rockies. And the 2040 postseason is about to begin. Our Rockies had an excellent 111-51 regular season, so we will have a first round bye and home field advantage for as long as we are alive in the playoffs. Need to get through the wild card series before we get to our first series, the National League Divisional Series. But we've probably made our decisions as far as our 26-man roster. Pitching staff was outstanding this year. I think the odd man out when we move from 13 pitchers to 12 for the postseason is going to be Jeff Colson, the former first-round draft pick. Finally got his opportunity to be a full-time major leaguer this year. 1-1 with a 3.50 ERA for us, almost a win above replacement. So he had a good, solid year for us, primarily as a middle and long reliever, although he did start 4 games for us when there were some injuries. But when we look at the rest of the pitching staff, just felt like it was hard to find an obvious role for him. We're going to go down to a 4-man rotation as usual. Number 5 starter, the lefty Mike Witherspoon, going to move into a middle relief role for us out of the bullpen. Witherspoon would give us a 4th lefty in the bullpen, which we think will be helpful, given that there will only be 1 lefty in the starting rotation when all is said and done. Lineup-wise, that allowed us to keep both Ted Slade and Jason House on the roster, who should hopefully bolster our lineup for when we're facing left-handed pitchers. The one, I don't know if it's a big change, but the one material change is that Derby Mahez, who has spent most of the year as a starter for us this year, 119 games started out of the 127 that he played, is going to be dealing with knee tendonitis for the next 3 or 4 weeks, unfortunately. And he hasn't been a particularly productive offensive player, so we're going to view him more as a defensive substitute going forward. Trent Kaysen is going to take over in the lineup for us against right-handed pitching at third base, where Mahez had been playing more recently. Kaysen had a much better offensive season than Mahez and is still a good, solid defensive third baseman, 60 range, 70 arm, and above average error rating. So I don't think we're going to lose too much defensively by moving on from Mahez at third base, and hopefully have a healthier guy with a better bat in the lineup every day. We'll see how things go when we take a look at the playoff tree. We know that at this point we are waiting to find out who wins between our division rival San Diego Padres and the New York Mets. So we'll get things underway and find out which of the 8 wildcard teams end up advancing to the respective divisional series in each of their leagues. And some final regular season awards before the playoffs get underway. Jesse Hoffmeister named National League Pitcher of the Month for the 2nd time this year. 5-1 record with a 1.30 ERA in the month of September. I believe he also won it back in the month of May, so a real strong season for Hoffmeister. His first opportunity to truly be an everyday starter for us throughout the season. And the National League's top hitter, Kevin Roberts Jr., the veteran, made a big push to lead the league in steals, lead the league in batter war, and perhaps put himself in position to at least be considered for a 4th most valuable player award. Strong finish down the stretch with a .360 batting average, 5 homers, 19 ribbies, and 29 runs scored in the month of September for Five Tools Roberts. And the divisional matchups are set. The Boston Red Sox will be facing off against the Kansas City Royals, who took out the Yankees in 3 games, and the Chicago White Sox facing off against the Houston Astros, who took out the Las Vegas Athletics in 3 games. We'll face off against the New York Mets. Took out our divisional rival San Diego Padres in 3 games. The only sweep, the Atlanta Braves took out the Cubs 2-0, and they'll be facing off against the St. Louis Cardinals. And on paper, the matchup definitely seems favorable to us. The Mets were the National League East winners, but a very mediocre and tight National League East. All 4 teams separated by just 4 games, but the Mets at 78 and 84 were 10 games worse than any other division winner this year, and they took out the Padres, who were the only other 100-win team besides our Colorado Rockies. So certainly never know what's going to happen, especially in a 5-game series. But we were 8-4 against the Mets this year. We had the second best offense in the NL and the best pitching staff. The Mets more a middle of the pack team, ranking 9th in runs scored, 7th in runs against. We've got our longtime ace, the righty Leo Martinez, on the mound. The Mets will be countering with the 25-year-old righty Miguel Polanco. Looks like a good solid major league starter, 10-10 with a 3.97 earned run average for the Mets this year. Does look like he did actually pitch 4 days ago, likely or almost certainly, obviously, in their playoff series. So not sure whether he'll actually end up getting the start. But regardless of who we end up facing, with Martinez on the mound and us being at home, certainly feel like it's going to be necessary to get a win here in game number 1. Mike Witherspoon with a torn fingernail. Going to take him 5 days to recover from that, so certainly not ideal that the guy who spent much of the season as our 5th starter, now a little banged up. Hopefully we won't need him much. Don't know that we want to put him on the IL. It is going to have a moderate impact on his throwing, but I don't know that we want to ensure that he's going to be out for the next series. Have to give that a little bit of thought. The main thing is we did get the win 9-3. Jumped on the Mets early with 3 runs in the bottom of the first. 3-run blast by Johnny Castillo, and he added a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 6th. So 2 home runs, 5 ribbies on the day for Castillo, who had a very strong second half of the year after a relatively slow first half. Martinez gets the win, allowed 5 hits, 2 walks, 2 earned runs while striking out 6 over 5 2/3 innings. Josh Joss, Mike Witherspoon, and Melvin Reyes combined for the final 3 1/3 innings for our Rockies. Miguel Polanco did get the start for the Mets through just 49 pitches, allowed 5 runs, all earned in 3 innings pitched. So a relatively easy victory for our Colorado Rockies, in addition to Castillo going 2 for 5. A couple of hits from Trent Kaysen, and 3 hits from Juan Silva, who we brought on board. Didn't do much for us in the regular season, but maybe he can be a useful player on a run through the playoffs for us after we rented him for the final couple months of the season. Although he's actually signed for next year also, so certainly in the mix to be on the team next season as well. And although we liked having the 4th lefty in the pen, we decided to put Witherspoon on the playoff IL, given that we've still got to win 2 more games against the Mets to get to a league championship series. And Jeff Colson did have a good, solid year for us, so he's going to move into middle and long relief role for us. Hopefully he'll be healthy and he'll be able to pitch in a National League Championship Series for us if we get back and past the Mets. And if we end up making it to the World Series, then we'll have the opportunity to bring Witherspoon back onto the roster if we decide that that's necessary. We'll go ahead, finish today, move on to game number 2, which will also be in Colorado for us, hoping that it'll be another good result for us after a dominant victory over the Mets today. seems to be taking a little bit of time to move forward there. Finally get it as soon as we start talking about it. We've got the lefty Bob Russell on the mound for us. Only a 9-7 record this year, but a 3.72 ERA over 174 and a third innings. Led the league in quality start percentage, but kind of a rough year for National League pitchers. 55.2% quality starts led the league. Did put up a strong 121 ERA plus, 83 FIP minus, and a WAR of close to 4. So a pretty typical Bob Russell season at this point, even though the win numbers weren't what we've become accustomed to. On the mound for the Mets, a lefty, Geffen Kiko Canetti, 16-12 with a 3.94 ERA. Feel like our roster is pretty loaded to do some damage against left-handed pitching. So although a good solid pitcher on the mound for the Mets, our hope is we'll be able to score some runs. We scored enough. Definitely was not a blowout, but a 4-3 victory for us. Kaysen, the catcher, J.D. Lee, and Johnny Castillo had home runs, the third of the series for Castillo. Take a look at the box score, and teams traded 2 runs in the top of the first for the Mets and the bottom of the second for our Rockies. We took a lead in the fourth. The Mets came back in the top of the ninth to tie things at 3, a triple by Nunez off of Adonis Valer. Solo home run, though, by Trent Kaysen in the bottom of the ninth walks things off. 12 hits on the day for our Rockies, 3 from Lee and a couple from Kaysen. Russell, 3 hits, 2 walks, 2 earned runs over 5 2/3 innings. Did strike out 4. Josh Kennedy and Adonis Valer combined to allow 2 hits, 1 walk, 1 earned run over the final 3 2/3 innings. Valer did blow the save, but ended up getting the win as he was bailed out by Trent Kaysen. The catcher, J.D. Lee, is your pitcher of the game. We will continue moving forward and see if we can perhaps get a series sweep against the Mets here after traveling across the country to New York. Bernie Barrera, the veteran right-hander on the mound for our Rockies, led the league in wins for the second time this year, 17-7 record with a 3.26 ERA. Led the league with a 1.10 whip and put up a WAR of 4. Looking at his ratings, he doesn't look like he's anything all that special. But he's been a very effective pitcher for us over the years. On the mound for the Mets, 25-year-old righty Cody Bean, 11-10 with a 4.24 ERA and a WAR of close to 4 this year. So another good, solid pitching matchup. The hope is that we can get this series against the Mets done. Looks like the Braves have a 2-0 lead on the Cardinals. The Red Sox have already swept the Royals out of the playoffs, so try to ensure as many off days as possible before our next series for us by hopefully winning today. And we do get the win 1-0, so a great pitcher's duel. Not surprisingly, Johnny Castillo with 3 home runs in 3 games is your series MVP. Barrera with the W, Bean with the loss, Adonis Valer with the save. We scored our lone run in the top of the 6th. Mr. 5 Tools, Kevin Roberts Jr. with an RBI single off of Bean held the Mets to just 1 hit. So a fantastic pitching performance by Bernie Barrera. 1 hit, no walks, and 8 strikeouts over 7 1/3 innings. Kennedy and Valer finished up the final inning in 2/3 perfectly, striking out 2. So a dominant pitching performance by the Rockies today. Cody Bean was good for the Mets, allowed just that 1 run, but in a 1-0 game, that's all that we needed. Good to see Kevin Roberts Jr. Come through with a big hit for us. Hadn't done too much previously in the series, but solid finish to this series for our Rockies, and now we have the opportunity to wait, find out if the Cardinals perhaps can bounce back from losing the first 2 games at home and take a game or possibly two in Atlanta. And the good news is we got some extra time off as the Cardinals rallied from a 2-0 deficit to take out the Braves 3-2. I guess the bad news is we're trying to guide this team back to the World Series and hopefully win our first World Series since 2037, is that the top 4 seeds in baseball are the 4 teams that are still alive. As noted, we'll be facing off against the Cardinals, and in the American League, the Red Sox, who swept the Royals, and the White Sox, who took 5 to take care of the Astros, will be facing off. And we will be, as noted, facing off against the National League North, winning St. Louis Cardinals, a 92-70 record. We did take 8 out of 12 games against St. Louis this year, but on paper they're a much closer team to us than the Mets were. We were second in the league in runs scored. They were fourth. We were first in the league in runs against, and the Cardinals were second. So you could argue that at 92-70, with numbers like that, they may have gotten a little bit unlucky during the regular season. We've got our ace, Leo Martinez, back on the mound. St. Louis going to be going with the 30-year-old Mike Condor Garcia, AL Cy Young Award winner back in 2036. 7-6 record with an outstanding 2.68 ERA, 4.1 WAR on the season. His stuff is nothing special, but movement on his pitches is incredible, and he's also got excellent control. So we will see what we can do against the veteran righty today in Colorado. And a 10-4 victory. Martinez with the win, Garcia with the loss. Xavier Salgado, the 24-year-old, with a home run for St. Louis. We got home runs from Juan Silva and Eric Moquin. So good to see some good offense for us in game number 1. No scores at all through the first 3 innings, but then we put crooked numbers together in the 4th, 5th, and 6th innings to jump out to a 7-2 lead. Never really looked back at that point, although they did close the gap to 7-4 in the top of the 7th. Everyone in the starting lineup except our center fielder, Anthony Pack Jr., had at least 1 hit. Big day from Johnny Castillo, 4 for 5 with a ribby. Kevin Roberts Jr. with a couple of hits and a couple of ribbies. Moquin and Silva also with 2 ribbies each. Their lone hits of the day were those home runs that we talked about earlier. Martinez puts up a quality start for us. 6 hits, 2 walks, and 3 earned runs over 6 innings. Colson filling in for the injured Witherspoon, did allow a run over the 2 innings that he pitched, gave up a home run, the lone home run of the day, to Mr. Salgado for the Cardinals, and perfect 9th from Jason McKinney to finish things off. Mike Castro is actually your player of the game. He went 2 for 3 with a couple of runs scored and a run batted in for us. So a good start to this National League Championship Series, continuing to do some scouting of our international complex. We're also going to be turning our attention to the international free agent pool in just a couple of days. So we'll do some work with them offline before continuing on with the playoffs. But right now, we've got the lefty Bob Russell on the mound in game number 2. 31-year-old righty Daniel Hudson is supposedly on the mound, but he pitched through 10 pitches 5 days ago and 27 3 days ago. So would assume they're using him as some type of opener. Did start 7 of the 31 games that he pitched this year. Tied with Barrera for the league lead with 17 wins, 17-3 record, 3.97 ERA, 1.2 WAR. Outstanding stuff for Hudson. His movement and control, nothing special at this point, but certainly does have a good arsenal. Not good enough, though, today. A 3-1 victory for our Colorado Rockies. So Bob Russell with the win. Matt Viator takes the loss in relief. Adonis Valère with his first save of the series. Mike Castro with a home run for us after being named player of the game in game number 1. Castro with a solo homer in the first, added runs in the second and the fifth. They got their lone run in the top of the seventh to close the gap to 3-1. But that's as close as the Cardinals got. Only 3 hits on the day for the Redbirds. 3 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors for our Rockies. So we gave them a few chances, perhaps. Fortunately, they were unable to take advantage. A couple of hits from Mokeen, who also walked twice, and a couple of hits from J.D. Lee. Only 3 hits, as we noted, for St. Louis. Russell with a quality start, 3 hits, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts. Allowed just 1 earned run over 6 2/3 innings. Chris Kennedy and Adonis Valère combined for a final 2 1/3 innings of perfect baseball. Viator ended up getting the start, so they did end up switching things up on it at the last moment. Threw just 14 pitches, took the loss, allowed the run in the first on that solo home run to Castro. Also used 4 more pitchers out of the bullpen, but with a off day tomorrow, a little bit of time for St. Louis to, hopefully for their sake, get a little rest for their pitchers and prepare to try to give us a better battle when we're in Missouri. And we've spent some time offline doing our initial review of the International Amateur Free Agent class. Looks like there could be some very interesting hitters in the class this year. Obviously, we have very low to low scouting accuracy on all of them right now, but cautiously optimistic that when we come to January, there will be a couple of very big-time offensive players to consider, but perhaps that will change as we learn more about some of these players, and it's possible that there will be some personality quirks that are discouraging to us also, but looks like a pretty interesting class, at least as far as the top-end bats that might be available. Turning our attention back to this season and this year, though, game number 3, we've got our number 3 starter, Bernie Barrera, on the mound. St. Louis putting the lefty, Justin Jurasek, on the mound. 25-year-old was 16-5 this year. Led the league in walks with 105, strikeouts with 257, ERA at 3.11, and strikeouts per 9 innings at 13.1. So put up a 3.6 WAR. Control can definitely be an issue for him, but his stuff is absolutely electric. Fastball, curve, sinker, all world class, and an outstanding knuckle curve as well. So interesting matchup. Mentioned earlier that I like our lineup against left-handers, but Jurasek is certainly going to test us. Hopefully we'll be able to draw some walks against him today. Cardinals with the win today. Looks like the decisions went into the bullpen. Nate Cargo with the win in relief for the Cardinals. David Guadrone took the loss for us. Did get a home run from Trent Kaysen today. Game went to 13 innings. Was tied 3-3 after the 5th. No scoring until the 13th. Trent Kaysen with an RBI double to give us a 4-3 lead in the top of the 13th. But then things go sideways for us in the bottom of the 13th. Double by Merkin, and then a 2-run double by Williams off of Guadrone allow the Cardinals to walk us off, get right back into the series. 3 hits today from Kaysen, only 6 hits on the day for our Colorado Rockies. So we certainly struggled, I am sure, early against Jurasek, although, as I noted, we did get 3 of our runs off of him. Walked 5, struck out 7, gave them 6 innings. Technically a quality start for him. Bernie Barrera only made it through 3 2/3, and then we emptied out the bullpen with Reyes, Joss, Kennedy, Valère, Schweitzer, and Guadrone all pitching. Nobody gave up a run out of the bullpen until Guadrone, who ended up taking the loss. Closer Adonis Valère injured while pitching, a pending shoulder injury. So that sounds like something that could end his season. And given that he is a potential free agent who is looking for $22 million a year for 4 years could, in theory, mean that he's also thrown his last pitch for the Colorado Rockies. But I'm sure we'll find out more in the next day or two. And as anticipated, the news bad for Adonis Valer, torn rotator cuff, going to be out 4 to 5 months. So could be pitching at some point in spring training next year. But unless his demand comes down, he'll be 31 years old, coming off of a torn rotator cuff, looking for pretty big money. It's very possible, unfortunately, that Anthony Valer has pitched his final game for the Colorado Rockies. We'll put him on the playoff IL, and going to have to give someone else a shot at closer. Valer has held down that spot for us at this point for over 5 years, 40-plus saves each of the last 5 years, plus he took over as closer in the 2035 season for us. So definitely going to be testing someone in a new role, and the Cardinals have some life after beating us yesterday. And with our lack of depth at pitching this year due to some injury issues, Salvatore Alvarez, who was briefly up with us, is going to be the guy who's added to the playoff roster for the rest of this NLCS. The hope is that we'll make it to the World Series, have no additional pitching injuries, and be able to swap out Alvarez for Mike Witherspoon at that point. Alvarez pitched just 4 games for us in the majors, ERA of over 7. But a very small sample size of just 6 1/3 innings. Going to have him in a long relief role, mop-up type of role, avoid high leverage. Hopefully don't put him in any situations where there's going to be an extreme amount of pressure on him. Jesse Hoffmeister, 15-6 with a 3.43 ERA this year, as we talked about at the start of the episode. A 2-time National League Pitcher of the Month this year, so a really nice year for the young righty. Dave Tobin, 29-year-old righty on the mound for the Cardinals. He was 8-14 with a 4.48 ERA this year. Pretty average-ish profile for a major league pitcher, but still a good solid pitcher with a 2.7 WAR. See if we can get a win today to guarantee that the worst case scenario is that we'd be heading back to Colorado with a lead. And we do get the win 8-7. McKinney with the win in relief. Viator loses his second game of the series. Schweitzer with the save. So I have a feeling this is one that went a lot of innings. Also, Kevin Roberts Jr. with a couple of homers. Kaysen, Mokeen, and Castillo also had home runs for our Rockies. Salgado with his second home run of the series for the Cardinals. Taking a look at the box score, I actually only went 9 innings. Did not go into extra innings. The Cardinals actually had a 7-4 lead on us heading into the 6th inning. 2 runs for us in the 6th, and then 2 runs in the top of the 7th. The big blow there, a 2-run dinger by Mokeen, gave us the 8-7 lead. And we ended up hanging on for dear life. Looks like we got a double play in the bottom of the 9th to help us get out of the inning and get the victory. 3 hits today for Kevin Roberts Jr., 3 for 4 with a couple of ribbies. Obviously, both of the home runs, solo shots for the veteran. 3 hits also for Trent Kaysen. You can see our manager making the most of things. Pivots Kaysen over to first base and brings in Derby Mahez as a defensive substitute at third late in the game to try to tighten up the defense. So good to see some good decisioning by the manager for us. Toby Staveland, can't just spaced on his name. Kevin Roberts Jr., the player of the game. Hoffmeister, very rough outing. 6 hits and 3 walks over 4 innings. Allowed 4 earned runs, 7 runs overall. as a big error by the first baseman Silva. So glad that didn't come back to haunt us. McKinney, a great job in relief, 2 hits, 4 strikeouts over 3 innings. Kennedy with the hold, and then Schweitzer with the save. Realized that I never went back and changed the pitching, so that could be why Schweitzer got the opportunity to be our closer, because he's actually listed as a closer, even though he's not necessarily the person that I would have put into that role. Need to pause right now. Spent the time on the International Free Agent Showcase yesterday and forgot to actually adapt our pitching staff, but I want to make sure that whoever we use as a closer is who I want, whether it's Schweitzer or somebody else. And we will give the 24-year-old Schweitzer the opportunity to be our closer going forward. Did save 4 games this year for us. As I noted, he's been listed as a closer throughout his career. And given that we could be moving on from Adonis Villar, what better way to find out how successful Schweitzer can be than throw him right into that role now? See what happens going forward. Moving on to game number 5 in the series, and we're doing some pretty active scouting of the international amateur free agents right now. The hope is to just finish up the series now. The White Sox have a 3-2 lead on the Red Sox as they get ready to head to Boston for the final game or 2 of that series. We've got Martinez on the mound. They've got Mike Garcia on the mound today. Rematch of game number 1, which we won easily. The hope is let's have an easy victory today and then some time off before the World Series gets underway. Not to be the case, though. 5-1 loss. They turned the tables on us. Garcia with the win, Martinez with the loss. 3 home runs from Lewis, Willoughby, and Teodoro for the Cardinals. So they definitely got the best of Martinez today. We scored our lone run in the 4th inning, a RBI single by the shortstop, Carlos Barrel Davia. A couple of hits from Silva, Castro, Roberts, and Lee, but not enough clutch hits. Martinez allowed 3 earned runs over 6 innings. Error by Trent Kaysen cost us today. Kevin Roberts Jr. caught stealing, trying to steal a base. Alvarez came on and gave up 1 earned run over 2 innings in, I believe, his first postseason action. I don't think he pitched for us in game number 4. Garcia with a really nice start, and we've got a 3-2 lead in the series. We are heading home, but unfortunately we're going to have to win at least 1 more game, or exactly 1 more game, to be able to get to the World Series. And the Red Sox beat the White Sox in Fenway in game number 6 to push that series to its side in game 7. Hopefully we can avoid that fate today. Rematch of game number 2, Russell and Hudson on the mound. That's a game that we ended up winning 3-1. We'll see if the lefty Bob Russell can help pitch us into the World Series. And we do get an 8-1 win today. Carlos Barrel Davia, the youngster with a home run. The veteran Kevin Roberts Jr. is your National League Championship Series MVP. Russell wins his 2nd game of the series. Hudson takes the loss. Looking at the box score, they scored their lone run on a RBI single in the top of the 1st. We bounced back with 5 in the bottom of the 1st. Run-scoring doubles and singles by Castro and Davia, a couple of the big blows there. Davia added his 2-run home run in the bottom of the 5th and ran away with an 8-1 victory to push our Rockies back into the World Series. 2 hit games from Silva, Castro, Moquin, Davia, and Lee. So a lot of offense in the top to middle of the order. Kaysen and Pack Jr. didn't do much at the end. Pack Jr. hitting just $120 in the playoffs. Hasn't driven in a run, but he continues to remain a very strong defensive center fielder. Russell with a great outing, 7 hits, 1 walk, 1 earned run while striking out 5 over 7 1/3. Jason House, the two-way player. We had such a big lead, we decided to give Jason House an opportunity to pitch the final inning in 2/3. Very rough outing for Daniel Hudson. Does not record an out, 4 hits, 5 earned runs. Pushes his ERA for the playoffs up to 16.20. We also had 8 hits in 5 innings off of Ramon Hernandez, who did his best to try to keep things close, but by that point they were already far behind. So our Rockies headed back to the World Series. The big question is, will we be facing a relatively familiar World Series foe in the Chicago White Sox or the Boston Red Sox? And we won't get an opportunity for another World Series matchup against the White Sox this year, as the Red Sox did win the final 2 games of the series in Fenway to take out the White Sox in 7. So the Colorado Rockies against the Boston Red Sox here in the 2040 World Series. Mentioned that we haven't won a series since 2037. Missed the World Series entirely in 2038. Lost to the Houston Astros in the World Series last year. So feels like it's time to hopefully get another title for our Rockies. But against an outstanding team, the best team in the American League, 99-63 Red Sox, the best offense in the American League with 873 runs scored, but a middle-of-the-pack team pitching-wise, 10th in runs allowed. So hopefully we'll be able to score some runs against them, because it certainly seems like they could score some runs against us. Leo Martinez last pitched 5 days ago. I think we're definitely going to move him up to pitch game number 2. Question is whether we want to pitch him in game number 1. Righty Steve Satchwell, also known as Luscious Luke, on the mound for the Red Sox in game number 1, 8-5 with a 3.51 earned run average for the righty. We've got our number 3 starter, Bernie Barrera, who, as we talked about, led the National League, or tied for the National League with 17 wins, led the league in WHIP, and also had one of the best ERAs in the league. I think we will give an extra day off to Martinez. We'll definitely pitch him in game number 2, which will set him up to possibly pitch in game number 6 if we need him. See if we can get the series off to a good start against Boston. Not so, though. A 4-3 victory for the Red Sox today. Morales with the win. McKinney, after an outstanding season for us, takes the loss in relief. Alex Alvarez with a home run with a save for the Red Sox. The lone home run of the game was Juan Silva. We took a 2-0 lead on them with runs in the 2nd and 3rd, but they bounced back with 3 in the 5th, tied it up in the bottom of the 6th. They added the game winner, RBI double by Sanchez off of Kennedy in the top of the 8th, although it looks like Kennedy was not responsible for that run. Only 4 hits today for our Rockies, so even though the Red Sox pitching was not great during the regular season, as we said, ranking 10th in the American League in runs allowed, they did a good job holding us down today. Bernie Barrera, not a great outing. 5 hits, 1 walk over 4 1/3 innings, allowed 3 earned runs. Satchwell with a solid start, allowed just a couple of hits and 3 runs, 2 earned over 5 innings. Satchwell named your player of the game. Colson, McKinney, Kennedy, and Schweitzer all pitched for us as we used a number of relievers. We do have Witherspoon back, although he was not used today. But fall behind 1-0 in this World Series to the Boston Red Sox, and that makes this game number 2 feel like it's probably pretty close to a must-win for us. But if we're going to be in a must-win game, we've got Leo Martinez on the mound for us. Veteran for the Red Sox, though, 42-year-old Yoshinobu Yamamoto, 5-time Cy Young Award winner, primarily with the Dodgers. Looks like the Dodgers traded him to Boston right before the trade deadline. He went 2-4 with a 4.54 ERA. The 42-year-old is wrecked physically, still has pretty good control. Definitely can give up some home runs, though. Perhaps we'll be able to take advantage of that here in Colorado in game number 2. Certainly feel like this is pretty close to a must-win for us at home with Martinez on the mound, down 1-0 in the series. And we do get a 4-2 win. Martinez win the win. Yamamoto takes the loss. Schweitzer with the save. Boston scored 2 in the 5th to take a 2-0 lead, but we came back finally this time with 4 in the bottom of the 6th. That was all of the scoring in the game. Mokeen with a RBI single, Kevin Roberts Jr. with a walk, and then a 2-run double by Lee helped push us to that 4-2 lead, which did end up holding up in 9 innings for us. Quality start from Martinez, 2 earned runs over 6 innings. Kennedy and Schweitzer combined to allow just 1 base runner while striking out 6 over the final 3 innings. Yamamoto, 4 earned runs over 5 innings for the Red Sox. Rain delay in the 5th inning. Looks like Martinez was named your player of the game, so good performance there. The Red Sox still did what they needed to do and won a game in Colorado, so they have seized home field advantage from us as we get ready to play game number 3 in Boston tomorrow. And getting ready for game number 3 in Boston, we've got our number 2 starter, Bob Russell, on the mound with extra rest. The lefty will be facing off against Danny West. The 29-year-old was an all-star back in 2039 for the Diamondbacks. Red Sox picked him up in a trade this past offseason, and he went 15-7 with a 3.79 ERA. Not the greatest stuff in the world, but good movement on his pitches, average control, very good stamina, good at holding on any base runners that he does allow. So a couple of lefties on the mound today. Will be interesting to see how much damage is done by right-handed hitters against that green monster with a couple of southpaws on the mound in Boston. Big win for Colorado, 6-3 victory to put us up 2-1. Unfortunately, it looks like we did lose Phil Dingwell, intercostal strain, out for 3 weeks. So we will place Mr. Dingwell onto the playoff IL. Give some thought to who we're going to bring up for him. But first, we'll take a look at the box score. Russell with the win, West with the loss, Schweitzer with his second save of the series. Ted Slade gets a home run for us. The Red Sox took a 3-0 lead in the bottom of the 2nd. After that, it was all Rockies, though. 4 in the top of the 4th. A grand slam home run by Slade. Added a run in the 6th and then a run in the 8th on an RBI triple by Mike Castro. And our Rockies get the job done. A couple of hits for both Castillo and the catcher Hall. Russell allowed 7 hits and a walk over 5 1/3 innings, but still did enough to push his record in the playoffs to 3-0. McKinney with the hold, Schweitzer with his 3rd save of the playoffs since we lost Adonis Valaire. Ted Slade injured, and as we talked about, Ted Slade player of the game. Dingwell injured while running the bases. West, 4 earned runs over 4 2/3 innings, also scored runs off of the relievers Josh Gonzalez and Brad Ruffin. On our way to a 6-3 victory that puts us 2 wins away from a potential championship. And with that injury to Dingwell, who was our number 3 hitter against left-handed pitching, our lineup there going to be a little bit weaker. We're also going to pivot Kevin Roberts Jr. to left field, and we're going to add Alex Gamez to the team. The youngster hit .228 with 3 homers and 20 ribbies for us in 79 at-bats after we called up the number 36 prospect in baseball late in the year. He is not accomplished as a right fielder right now, but hopefully he can handle himself out there. Moquin and Pack Jr., the left-handed hitters, are certainly better defensively. But if we face a lefty, we're going to put Gamez in the lineup, see what the rookie can do, and then hopefully mix and match and tighten up our outfield defense if and when we are able to be fortunate enough to get a lead. Jesse Hoffmeister, who's hit a 9 ERA in his one start in the playoffs for us in the NLCS, going up against Alfredo Hernandez, 23-year-old right-hander, 8-8 with a 4.31 earned run average for the Red Sox this year, about a win and a half above replacement. The stuff not special, but a good, solid-looking major league prospect who we think can still get a little bit better. Hopefully he doesn't get any better in these playoffs, though. 2-1 lead for our Rockies as we head into game number 4. Obviously would love to just win these next 2 games, but clearly the objective is to win at least one of these next 2, and worst case scenario, head back to Colorado with a 3-2 lead. And we get a win here in game number 4, so that's the worst case scenario for us, heading back to Colorado with a lead. We can certainly clinch things if we win tomorrow in a rematch of game number 1, which is the one game we've lost in this series. Hoffmeister with the win, Hernandez with the loss, Melvin Reyes with the save in the 5-3 victory, Moquin with a homer, Xavier Sanders with a home run for the Red Sox. We scored a couple in the third, RBI double from Kaysen, added 3 more in the 6th, 2-run homer by Moquin, the big blow there. They came back with 2 in the bottom of the 6th on the 2-run homer from Sanders, and then they did score a run in the bottom of the 9th to close the gap to 5-3. But Colorado now, as noted in the headline, on the cusp of a World Series triumph. A couple of hits from Moquin, Roberts Jr., Castillo, and Kaysen today. Hoffmeister, 6 hits, 2 walks, 2 earned runs over 5 1/3 innings. Joss, Kennedy, and Reyes, the relievers that we used to get the rest of the way through this game. And we head to game number 5, 1 win away from another world championship for the Rockies, although as I noted, it's been 3 years since the last time we did get a victory. Rematch of game number 1, Bernie Barrera and Steve Satchwell on the mound. Can we clinch the World Series on the road in Fenway, or will we head back to Colorado needing to win 1 game at home? And it is all over. Our Colorado Rockies, with a 6-0 victory over the Red Sox in game number 5, are your 2040 World Series champions. Bernie Barrera bounces back from game number 1 and his loss, or the loss for the team there to get the W. Steve Satchwell with the loss. Anthony Pack Jr., another guy most likely playing his final game for the Colorado Rockies, hits a home run for us. Mike Castro, the left fielder, is your World Series MVP. Rockies scored a run in the 3rd, RBI double by Roberts, added 2 in the 4th, 2-run homer by Pack Jr., 3 in the 6th, including a 2-run triple by Pack Jr., so kind of similar to the situation we were in the playoffs a year ago with Ryan Stone ahead of an option year, had a monster playoffs for us, and we chose to bring him back, although he got injured in spring training and ended up missing this entire year. Anthony Pack Jr. Trying to make a strong case to come back as our center fielder next year with a monster game in game number 5. Only 1 hit on the day for the Red Sox, so a dominant performance by our pitching staff once again. The DH, Josh Johansson, the only hit on the day for the Red Sox. 2 hits by Anthony Pack Jr. to go with his 4 ribbies. The only other hits on the day for us were from Lee, Castillo, Roberts Jr., and Castro, but we made the most of them. Barrera, 1 hit allowed over 7 innings pitched. Witherspoon, after missing most of the divisional series and all of the NLCS, comes out to pitch the final 2 innings, striking out 2. And the guy who was our number 5 starter throughout the year moved to the bullpen for the playoffs, suffered some injury issues, gets to be on the mound as the Rockies claim the World Championship. Bernie Barrera, not a surprise after that incredible pitching performance, is your player of the game. And our Colorado Rockies are your 2040 World Series champions. And as noted, the Rockies, your World Series champions here in 2040. Take a look back at the playoff history, and this is the 7th title for our Rockies. I believe we won our first in 2031. Yep, and then we, of course, if you've been following us, won 5 in a row from 2035 through 2037. The first 4 of those against the very hard luck Chicago White Sox. The last 2 years, as I mentioned, unsuccessful. Rockies fell to the Mets in the NLCS a couple years ago. Last year, as I noted, lost in the World Series to the Rockies. So we have kept going a step further each of these last few years, and we finally get the job done right again this year against the Boston Red Sox. So time to start thinking about the off-season. Development facilities open. Arbitration period has begun. Continue to do some scouting of not just our players, but the international free agents. Need a option year decision on Anthony Pack Jr. for $9 million. We'll certainly talk a lot more about that next time around when we do our annual roster review. Charlie Monfort, $288 million budget for next season. I feel like that might be a small increase. I can't even remember at this point, though. No, actually a small decrease. We were $290 a year ago, so win the World Series and get the budget cut. Those are the breaks when dealing with Mr. Monfort. Review of the season goals. Happy with the results, obviously. Wants us to keep the discussions open with Adonis Valaire. That seems perhaps a little aggressive, given that, as I noted, 31 years old, coming off of a rotator cuff injury. Pleased that we did better in extra inning games. Can't complain that we got a title. Happy with our performance from the goals. Delighted with our overall performance. Still wants us to sign Adonis Valaire, get back to having a top 6 minor league system, win another championship. Colorado Rockies players retiring. We knew this was going to happen. Matt Stream suffered that career-ending injury in spring training this year. We knew his career was over. We're hoping that he might be a guy who could help our rotation this year. We didn't have as deep a pitching staff with the injuries to him and Jason Axelson in particular. Also lost a staff member. Pitching coach Brian Bentley has decided to retire, so some personnel work for us to do as well. But we will at least be making those decisions from a position of strength, as the Rockies are the 2040 World Series champions. As I noted, next time around we'll do our annual roster review, start preparing for and thinking about what we want to do this off-season. Definitely have some interesting decisions ahead of us, not just Anthony Pack Jr. and Adonis Valaire, but a few other players that are potential free agents that we're going to need to give some serious thought to, because there could be some significant turnover on this roster in this upcoming off-season, and we'll start talking about it next time around. Until then, thanks so much for watching, and hope you have a great day.